Katie Virtue with Festive Road, the consultancy on a mission to create better travel and meetings management. Today, I'm in conversation with Simone Buckley from TripActions. Welcome, Simone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how about you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Pleased to be back here in person.
Yes, very exciting, and with TripActions now.
Yep, and it's really nice to put a face to a name.
Yes, absolutely. So Simone, we're thinking about 2022 and beyond, and different considerations for travel managers and travel buyers. So which topic have you chosen that you think is important for travel management programs and travel buyers to consider?
So we're talking about 5 trends that we've noticed since the restart of travel. And I can talk to you about all of them or some of them, but those 5 trends really are the changing landscape. So particularly around air travel and pricing and supply and demand fluctuations. So deal negotiations will be different. The second one is sustainable travel. So how do we restart travel sustainably? The third obviously is duty of care. And I say obviously because that's always been part of the program, but post-COVID it's even more important.
Right.
The fourth is the distributed workforce. So how people have moved away from office and how will that change the travel program? Is them coming back to meet their team's business travel, or is it replacing commuter travel? And then the fifth, and probably for me the most exciting, is the digital evolution that we've gone through over the last 18 months.
Okay, great topics, and let's dive maybe a little bit into a few of them. So you said, the maybe most exciting is digital.
Yeah.
So why digital? What does that mean?
So there was a recent McKinsey report that demonstrated we as consumers, if you like, as individuals, have leaped 5 years in 18 months in terms of our digitization, if you like. And I'm probably one of those who didn't particularly like online shopping, didn't do much on my phone in terms of shopping. And of course, over the last 18 months, I now do everything on my phone. I do my Tesco shop, I'm doing my ASOS order, everything is on my phone. And so my expectation of my experience now that I'm back is I want to be able to do things on my phone that I used to maybe do either over email or over telephone. So I think for us in travel, and obviously now I'm at TripActions, which is a tech company that's in travel, as opposed to a travel company. I think there are so many areas of value that the digital and the automation can add into the travel experience and also the travel program experience that it's really exciting.
I could see there being a lot of opportunity then to further extend the value of TripActions and TMC to on-trip more with digital and through the mobile.
Yeah, definitely. Everything being there. I took my first overseas trip in the summer. I booked it all on TripActions. It was a personal trip, but we can do that. And everything was on the app. The whole experience was seamless. It was all in my pocket for the whole journey, which was just easy. Yeah.
All right, let's think about one of the other trends you talked about. So the change in workplace and future of work and the hybrid models, distributed workforce.
Yeah.
How are you viewing that from a TMC perspective?
So we developed a new product called Teams Travel, which allows, let's say you were getting the Festive Road team together, it allows you to invite all of your team to that meeting, and they can collaborate on platform to make the booking and to decide where they're going to meet. You can see everyone's bookings coming in, so it's a real sort of tool that allows you to collaborate, manage costs, and decide, where and how people should meet. And we developed that product because we could see that there's a shift from people being in office to people wanting to, work remotely, but obviously have to come together frequently in order to travel. In order to do their jobs better. Now, I think the thing we don't know yet, and I suppose is a question for travel managers to pose to HR is, if I'm somebody who used to commute into London, I've now moved 2 hours out and I want to come in every other week for a team meeting, is that a business trip that I'm claiming back from the company?
Right.
Or is that just at my cost a commuter trip? And so there's a lot of questions around how this thing's going to work, I think.
Yeah, and then if you start to manage more local travel, and if that's a consideration.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I could see that then impacting one of your other trends, which was around the changing landscape, because depending on what they make, in terms of their decision with their teams or their people, and certainly some changes to the landscape and airline routes and that you utilize.
Yeah, I mean, domestically in the US, you'll see a shift. Here in the UK and in Europe, we're seeing a shift from flight to rail. Okay, that's around the sustainability as much as anything else. But you're right. In the UK, my business travel spend might have been me flying to San Francisco 4 times a year to head office, and now it could be me going into London once a month for a team trip. So, and I would do that by train and not by plane. So, having that inventory in the app, having the available traffic types in there is going to be really, really important.
And you mentioned sustainability just there, as well as one of the trends, and certainly one of the biggest topics we're hearing about as people return to travel and try to figure out what's a smarter way to return. What are you seeing then from a sustainability standpoint in terms of a travel buyer and what they need to consider?
So there's 2 things really with sustainability. Firstly, I think we were locked down. I don't know about you, but I lay in my garden in the sunshine thinking, no planes in the sky, can't hear a car, I can hear the birds singing, it's lovely weather. Mother Nature might have had a hand in this, right? This is giving us an opportunity to come back and restart travel from zero. We could never have reduced our carbon emissions from where we were, but actually now it seems almost more achievable to start from zero and control the increase of that travel and control the carbon output. So there's the drive to do the right thing. The other thing is the carbon reduction targets. So the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015. In July 2022, the EU SFDR, which is the Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation, comes into play, which means any business that is in financial services needs to disclose what they're doing to reduce their carbon. And so that is cascading down to other businesses. And it means that there's a real tangible drive to reduce carbon emissions and to provide evidence of how you're reducing those carbon emissions. We've announced yesterday our partnership with Nesta, which we're the first global TMC to facilitate our customers buying sustainable aviation fuel. And so they are directly reducing the carbon that is emitted for their travel, which I think is incredible. It's such a direct impact on the environment today, which is really exciting. So, I think sustainability is here to stay and actually quite at the top of the agenda. Just going back to the changing landscape, one of the other things I think people should be thinking about is as supply and demand changes, the way we used to negotiate deals isn't going to be the same, not for some time, and so dynamic pricing is probably going to be the way forward, and having access to a full inventory, having access to every fare that an airline puts out, regardless of which channel they put out, is going to be really key to making sure that you're saving or you're optimizing the travel spend that you have. And I think that's something people need to keep in mind, making sure that their TMC or their online booking tool or however they're booking, they're getting all of that inventory. And also think about policy. So certainly here in the EU, static policies have been common. So, you negotiate rate, your preferred carriers, your preferred hotels. Dynamic policy now. So, we at TripActions have a dynamic policy. It's based on what's the lowest average fare we can get on that route. Okay, that's your cap. That's the minimum. That's the maximum that you can spend at that hotel at that time or on that flight. So thinking about how your policy can help support that as travel comes back is going to be really important.
Yeah, and then I'm sure the tools to help implement that policy to make it dynamic.
Absolutely. And being able to change that, instantly is going to be really important. Yeah.
So, oh gosh, when you think about all of these trends that a travel manager or travel buyer needs to consider, what advice would you have for them of what steps and actions they should take?
I think be open-minded. I think lots of things have changed over the last 18 months. Don't assume when your travellers come back that their expectation of experience is what it was when they left. Don't assume your TMC is the same. I know we at TripActions launched more than 60 new products within our platform over the last 18 months. So a lot has changed in our platform, and I'm sure other TMCs are the same. So, take a look around, see what's changed. Make sure that you are on top of your company's expectations when it comes to travel. And then put some, I suppose, ethical, moral boundaries around who should travel. We talk about purposeful travel, Festive Roads, purposeful travel program. Taking into consideration well-being, sustainability, as well as cost. Is really crucial. And I think kind of study that, understand it, and see how you can apply it to your business. Those are the three things I think would be my advice.
Yeah, it sounds almost like taking that step back to review your strategy across all of those areas you mentioned. And then determining, okay, this is now how I move forward with that.
Yeah, definitely. A lot has changed in 18 months. A lot has changed. And I think, this being here at the show, you can see that. There's lots of new products on the market. I mean, here in Europe as well, we have to deal with Brexit. Okay, that is not straightforward. Who would have thought 18 months ago that would be the least of our worries? That was the hot topic, and now it's kind of, we're just going to deal with that because we've got all these other things we need to deal with too. So
makes sense. Great. Well, thank you, Simone. That's been very insightful and lots for our listeners to consider. So thank you for joining us today.